Hi, I'm Fran Tarkenton. Welcome to TwinCities.com. Another week's down in the season. We've got 3 weeks left to go, and it's all up for grabs, isn't it? We know in Minnesota that we're not going to be in the playoffs, so our interest is not as high as it might have been. In Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, the Falcons thought this was their year to go to the Super Bowl. They had the claim last year we were one play away from 5 yards away from being in the Super Bowl. There's no certainty in the National Football League. And it's interesting even in Atlanta where they have a franchise quarterback. And then you go to Baltimore, which is the defending Super Bowl champions. Let's say they've got a semi-franchise quarterback in Flacco. Even in these teams, pretty much out of the playoffs. Atlanta's sitting there no better than our Vikings. Three wins with a franchise quarterback. Their problems are worse than our problems in Minnesota because they've got a franchise quarterback with 3 wins. That means the rest of their team is not very good. And in our case in Minnesota, as we said time and time again, we've got pretty good personnel. And we've got a future. And we've got some young players that are really playing really well. And I'm pretty excited about the roster that we have. And I'm kind of looking forward to next year. And I'm not wishing we lose any games, but I'm not as near as disappointed today if we lose as I would have been before because it makes we're able to have a better draft slot. We can draft higher, closer to that first or second pick of the draft. And, you know, your players and your coaches are going to do everything they can to win the games, but we as fans, I'm not just living and dying with the Vikings winning or losing. It's interesting as we look at as it folds out here with 3 weeks to go. There are a few teams that really are clear-cut favorites, I think, to get to the Super Bowl. I think in the NFC, you've got two teams, San Francisco and Seattle, that are clearly better than anybody else. I think that New Orleans is maybe a third in there, but I think that the NFL champion, the NFC champion, is going to come from Seattle and San Francisco. And I think over in the AFL side, I think the Denver Broncos are the clear leader over there. And I thought New England was coming on, and they've got Tom Brady, of course, but they've lost Gronkowski. You lose a player like Gronkowski, it changes the dynamics of your team. Early in the year, there was no Gronkowski, and Tom Brady didn't look like Tom Brady. When he comes back the last 5 or 6 weeks, Tom Brady looked like Tom Brady. Now he's gone for the season, so they've lost something very important to them. And Denver has got an inside track of getting to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to have home field advantage, and that bids well for them. And the teams that I thought might be in there, Houston had great players. They're not even going to make the playoffs. Kansas City, I think, is an overrated team. They're not going to get there. The Ravens certainly aren't going to get there. There's not much power left in the AFC. Here's the sleeper in the AFC, Cincinnati Bengals. If Andy Dalton can play at the level he's played at the last few weeks, they've got really a good team, and they have a chance to move up there. But I think right now the inside track is certainly Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, and I think it's a 2-pony race in the NFC between Seattle and San Francisco. They got complete rosters. They're getting healthier at the end of the year. Crabtree is coming back for San Francisco. Whether Percy Harvin, the old Viking, comes back or not at Seattle, it sounds like he might, but he hasn't yet. That just makes them both that much stronger. But we love the NFL football, right? I mean, it's always an event. We never know how it's going to end. As we looked at that game last week against the Ravens, my goodness, in the last, 3 minutes, we score all the, 4 or 5 touchdowns scored. I've never seen anything like that. It's the drama and the theater of NFL football. And that's why we all like to watch it, even though in this case, our team, the Vikings, are not going to make the playoffs, but we've got next year, and maybe we'll have a good, nice, high draft choice and draft that quarterback that we so desperately need.